We saw all through the book of Acts, normal, odd, insecure, uncourageous losers courageously advancing the kingdom because they took a couple seminary classes. We looked at the life of Peter, right? When we saw Peter, he gets confronted by a 14-year-old girl, and he just wilts. He just totally caves under the pressure of a 14-year-old girl going, didn't you used to be friends with Jesus? He's like, no! He totally wimps out. And a few days later, he's standing before the same men that condemned Jesus in their sham of a court, speaking courageously and boldly about Jesus. And the difference wasn't that he took an apologetic class at a seminary online somewhere in between those two events. The difference was that he was filled by the Spirit of Jesus to proclaim boldly the name of Jesus, to confound even the wisest men of his day. So they looked at him and said, okay, there's an unschooled man, and the only explanation we can offer for what he's doing right now is that he has been with Jesus. Jesus came, died, rose again, ascended to send his Spirit to fill his followers, his believers, which is us, the church, to do extraordinary things. That's the witness of the gospel. That God can accomplish extraordinary, mountain-moving things through ordinary, normal, unimpressive people like you and me. Does that give anybody hope this morning? That means I can play. That means I can be a significant part of the team, even though I fumble and trip and stumble and run the wrong pattern. Some way, God's going to use me in such a way as to maybe just cause distraction for their team. I don't know, but somebody's going to use me in a significant way for his kingdom. It's like being able to play a part in the most epic movie of all time. And I don't need the starring role. I'd wet my pants if I had the starring role. I'd mess it up if I had the starring role. No one would come watch it with me, but I'm a part of the big story because I come in and deliver a line, and it's a small part of the big story. I'm happy with that. Jesus fills his disciples with power, and then he sends them. I think the transforming power of Christ in the life of a Christian is one of the most powerful apologetics of the gospel. And I get to see it all the time, and hopefully you do too. The bottom line is, there are people in this church whose lives are being radically, radically changed. I had a talk with a guy last week. He said, I've struggled with depression. I've struggled with doubt and discouragement my whole life. I have feared death from day one until last Sunday I heard you talk about the resurrection of Christ, where death loses its sting and death loses its victory, and that these light momentary afflictions are preparing for us a weight of glory to celebrate for eternity with Christ. And you know what? For the first time in my life, he said this last week with tears in his eyes, for the first time in my life, I no longer fear death. No medication, no counseling, no psychosis, just the gospel. And the fear of death wiped away. Jesus can still change people's lives today. Not just helping them turn over a few leaves or make a few more resolves, radical, life-altering, future-shifting ways, because he's king. And what he says goes. And he